Hello everybody, welcome to another screencast. My name is Kevin Remdy and I'm an IT Pro Evangelist with Microsoft. It's my pleasure to bring you another screencast around Windows 7. And this time, this is actually part 5 of a 5-part series I'm doing on Windows 7. These are all demos that were part of a webcast that I did in early June of 2009. So I thought I'd record these as a later consumable additional bit of benefit that you have now in good screencast form. So anyway, demo number 5 in this series is all about troubleshooting. And in this case, I wanted to show you a quick example of some of the new troubleshooting features in Windows 7. What we have in Windows 7 is something called Troubleshooting Packs. And what those are a collection of Windows PowerShell scripts and XML definitions. And basically what they do is they define the steps to take when diagnosing a problem, and also, if the problem exists, the steps that need to be taken to solve the problem, of course after the user has approved the resolution. So these can do a number of tasks for you. They can do troubleshooting and monitoring and maintenance. There's actually 20 built-in troubleshooting packs, and they address more than 100 root causes of typical problems in a desktop environment. Okay? And this architecture is actually extendable, so you can actually, for your own applications, build troubleshooting packs and add them in to Windows 7. So how do I get to the troubleshooting packs in Windows 7? I'm going to find those under a couple different ways. One way is that we can actually go into the Action Center, and if I open up the Action Center, notice I've got a link to troubleshooting right here. And that will actually bring me right into the troubleshooting area. Another way to get into it is in the control panel. I'll show you that as well. And here it's not readily apparent that troubleshooting is available under here. A couple things you can do. You can do the icons, and then you'll certainly find troubleshooting that way. What I like to do, though, and this is my favorite thing, and again, the big reason I love Windows Vista as well as Windows 7 is search. So if I just type trouble, it'll find troubleshooting for me. So here's the troubleshooting area in Windows 7. And notice we have, well, an indication right away, hey, you might already be aware of this, you've lost your internet connection. So we can actually do some troubleshooting against our internet connection. And that's good. Now this doesn't happen to be a domain or a internet connected machine, so I'm not worried about that right now. But, for example, what about, well, let's say I wanted to diagnose that. Well, I could, how do I connect to the internet? Or another common issue, I'm having issues with the arrow display, the desktop interface, and the glassy look and feel, the nice arrow graphics. Why am I having an issue with that? Now, in this case, I'm having an issue with that because I'm running as a virtual machine, and we don't do arrow in virtual machines yet. I'm not announcing anything. I'm hoping that someday they will. What about power usage? Well, if I click this, it will actually launch into a troubleshooter that will help me diagnose how I might get better use out of the power that's coming to this machine. So be more efficient with that. And so I can click next and actually step through this troubleshooter that's going to attempt to detect any issues. And notice what it showed me here is, hey, you know what? We found that based on what you had already selected as a power plan, there may be a more efficient power plan available to you, something that's going to use a little less power. So I could skip it. I could continue to do some troubleshooting. I'm going to go ahead and apply the fix. You can actually watch the things that it does. Power planning, in this case, the issue was I had it set to high performance. Okay, so sue me, I like a fast, high-performing machine. And if I'm plugged in all the time, that's probably all right. But even if you're plugged in, you can actually do some things to reduce power consumption in terms of stepping down processors or disabling and spinning down disk drives, things like that. There's a lot of things that you can do to make sure that a system is running more efficiently. So, and it will actually then implement it for you. I can close the troubleshooter here, or I can explore additional options. And if I do that, we get some nice links to searching for some additional help. If the problem still exists, we can do a remote assistance request, request some help, or do a recovery. So there's other issues or options that we have available here as well. Let's go back to troubleshooting. And we can actually, let's go ahead and run this one too, just for fun. We'll run the check on why we're not showing our arrow interface, and we'll see what the troubleshooter tells us. Windows Experience Index has not been computed, so it wasn't able to fix this. So sometimes they're unable to automatically fix problems, but the best news here is that you're going to get some good information. And the nice thing too is you can actually get into the detailed information about what was checked. So I can see, well, was it the driver don't support arrow? Well, that issue wasn't present. I do have drivers that support it. maybe it's the Windows Edition that I have. We just, if there's the one that it found. But there's a number of things that were checked as well. And any one of these, we can really get into the details of what specifically was looked at. So just a quick example of one of the new functionalities in Windows 7 around troubleshooting. So hopefully you and your end users are better armed to detect issues early on. And certainly all of us as IT administrators and as desktop support people, we love it when the phone call is not, well, first of all, we love it best when they don't call. If this solves the problem for the end user, fantastic. If they call us with additional information about what the problem was. Hey, you know what, Kevin, I ran the troubleshooter and it tells me that it wasn't able to fix this issue, but here's where the issue is. Doesn't that help you? I mean, really, in terms of then having a good starting point to your own troubleshooting and being able to then connect remotely to that machine and look at some of the problem reports and solutions and so on. So we really get a better starting point for our own diagnostics, even if our end users aren't able to fix the problem automatically, and allow Windows 7 to fix the problem automatically. So powerful troubleshooting in Windows 7. I hope you've enjoyed this screencast and indeed all 5 of these webcasts and screencasts around Windows 7, and we'll see you on another screencast someday.